Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a girl talk video. I saw that some of you guys liked when I do these videos, so I'm going to do another one today. This will probably be a part 1 and part 2 so that it's not too long. So today's topic is going to be period 101 because I just feel like this is such an important topic because some girls really don't get this education, and I feel like this is a great platform to share everything that I know, and along with my other amazing subbies, you guys could leave in the comments some tips or even questions that you have, and I would be more than happy to answer it, or somebody else could answer it if I don't 100% know the answer. So I'm just going to touch on a few things today, and then the part 2 I'll talk about some more. So the first question that I thought might be a good one is, what can you use? You know, a lot of people don't know the options that they have when it comes to your time of the month. So of course the most typical and traditional are pads. You know, you just stick them in your underwear. They remind me of like a baby diaper because they just sit there and just soak up the blood. So there are different kinds of pads. I don't know all of them. I don't really know anybody who does unless you use that many different kinds, but I know they have maxi pads, the thins, the nighttime. They have a lot of different kinds, so you can get the maxi pads are basically a thicker version of the regular ones. I usually would use those if I'm going to sleep, or if your flow is just really heavy and you don't trust a normal thin pad. So when it comes to getting pads, you can also get pads with wings or without wings. So wings are basically the thing that keep the pad in place. When you're putting the pad in your underwear, you'll place the wings on the bottom part of it to basically keep the pad in place. I always prefer to get pads with wings because when you don't have wings, it's not as secure, and that is just a big no-no, and it's like welcoming leakage into your life, and I really don't like that. So pads are usually what girls start out with when they first get their period. You know, everyone goes out and gets their first box of pads, I guess. I don't really know, but most people start out with pads. Now of course different brands have different absorbencies. Like You by Kotex may not work for you but always will, or I don't really know that many pad brands. Well, I mostly use Always, so that's the brand that I know the best, but every brand may work different for you, so don't always look for the brand that has the super pretty package because it may not work, and sometimes those brands are more expensive. So when it comes to getting pads, I've found that buying them in bulk from like a wholesale place like Sam's, Costco, BJ's is always the better buy because you get more pads for your money, because pads can be very expensive if you get them from like Safeway or CVS or something. So it's always better to get them in wholesale, but if you are getting them from like CVS or something, look at how many are coming in the box and then look at the unit rate, and you can figure out which one is the better buy for you. Quick tip. So another thing that you can use is liners, but I would probably not recommend to use those unless you're like in the last few days of your period, or if you're ovulating or just having discharge. Liners are like really super duper thin. They're like a sheet of paper, and they're only like 99 cents or so, but people usually use those to soak up discharge or if you're spotting, things like that. So definitely check those out. I use those all the time. So a lot of people some people end up switching to tampons, but before you make the switch to tampons, you definitely want to have a conversation with your mom or whoever is getting your feminine products for you to see if they feel comfortable with you using tampons, because I know a lot of parents aren't so comfortable with their daughter using that because there are some risks that come with tampons, and some parents just don't like the idea of that being in your vagina. So definitely just talk to your parents before you go out and get them, and if they say yes, then there's a lot that you need to know about tampons. So the main thing that I think you should know is that there are regular and supreme. I've heard that there are more sizes, but those are the main ones that you will see in stores. For me, I always opt for I always opt for Playtex Sport, and I always get supreme just because you never know how your flow will be that day. And from what I've tried with regular, they don't last for that long, so I always go for the supreme box. And also when it comes to tampons, every brand will be different for everybody. So what may work for you does not work for your friend. So I started using tampons in the 8th grade, and my friend told me that she liked the U by Kotex brand. So I went out and I got some of that. You know, I used that box up and I was like, okay, this is cool. But then I tried the Playtex Sport and I realized that that brand worked a lot better for me. And also U by Kotex is a little bit expensive because you're basically paying for pretty packaging. So I wasn't I don't use that brand anymore. I stick to what I like. I don't really like to switch it up because I don't want to risk anything when I'm out or anything. So if you don't know how to insert a tampon and you don't really feel comfortable going to your mom or anything, there are directions on the inside of the tampon box that can guide you through doing it. But a couple of things that I can say about it is that it's best to insert a tampon. I like to do it when I'm just sitting on the toilet because it's easiest, or if you're squatting, if you're in a public bathroom. It's easiest to do it when you're squatting. It's not very easy to do it when you're standing up, so don't try to do it because you probably won't do it right. So it's easiest to do when you're squatting, and it's best to tilt the tampon towards your body. So like tilt it towards your body, and then you're gonna push the little applicator button thingy. I don't really know what to call it, but just push the applicator, and I push it up slowly. Don't just like jam it up there because you don't know if you're doing it wrong. So just do it slowly. And once the tampon is in, stand up and just do a couple steps to make sure that it's in right. When you insert a tampon, it should never be painful at all. You should not feel it. You should not feel any kind of discomfort. And if you do, always go back and take it out and try again with a different tampon, because you don't want to be uncomfortable for the 2 hours or so that you leave it in. So just go and change it. Let me see if there's anything else I have about this. So some people who have heavier flows and they wear tampons, I do this occasionally, you may put a liner under your tampon just to catch any blood that may like slip out, and to catch any blood that starts to come down the string of the tampon. You might just use a panty liner to catch that so that it doesn't ruin your underwear. So the next question is, how often should I change my pad slash tampon, and what can I use to help me feel fresher? Okay, so I'm going to use vagina a lot while talking about this. So if you don't, I forgot to say that at the beginning of the video, but if you don't like the word vagina, then you might want to exit right now because it's about to get real. So I recommend that you change your pad or your tampon every 2 to 4 hours, just because there is simply no excuses to leave it on for any longer. And if you're wearing a tampon, you run the risk of getting TTS, toxic shock syndrome. It is very rare that you will get it, but people have died from it, lost limbs from it. So I don't play when I come around to wearing tampons. On the 2 hour mark, I'm in that bathroom changing it. Even though it is a very low chance that you'll get it, you don't want to risk anything at all. So I always like to change them on the 2 hour to 4 hour mark. And by changing it, it'll just help you to feel fresher. And you know, I don't understand why people want to leave it on for longer, but just change it. So of course you definitely don't want to smell like fish, because that's very, very embarrassing. Because if you could smell it, I know other people could smell it. Like, it's not hard to smell yourself. So if your legs are open and you smell something foul, you need to go to the bathroom ASAP. Like, no, like, that's not okay. So that can be very embarrassing, like I said. And when I first got my period, I wasn't really quite sure like where the smell was coming from or how to help the smell, but I figured it out, and I'm here to tell you guys so that y'all won't be extra confused like me. So I found out that the smell of your blood is a factor of many things. It is a reflection of what you eat. It is a reaction from when your blood reaches the pad, because there are a lot of chemicals on pads and things. So when your blood hits the pad, the chemicals and all that have a reaction, and that's one reason why it smells like that. And the very last reason is because your blood hit the air, and when your blood hits air, I guess that's where the smell comes from. So yeah. So when you have on a tampon, clearly there won't be any smell because it's inside of your body and your blood won't be exposed to air at all. But that does not mean that you should not go and change your tampon regularly, because it's just not okay to leave it on for very long. And like when you're going to change your pads, you could use wipes. I prefer to use the Summer's Eve wipes. They come in some that can go in your purse, your book bag, your pocket, purse, whatever. So they come in like, I don't even know what size they are, but they're smaller than your phone, so they're super duper convenient. And you basically want to just use that to wipe your vagina or everywhere that blood can be, because I know when you have on a pad, a little bit of blood might get on your butt cheeks and stuff, so I don't like pads. So you could just use the wipe to wipe all of that stuff up, get everything up so that you're clean as possible. You could also use baby wipes. I just prefer to use the Summer's Eve ones because they're super duper convenient for me. And you could, after you do that, you could put baby powder. I've talked about this in another one of my videos. I always use talcum-free baby powder because a lot of people are saying that talcum causes cancer now, and I don't have time for that. So I use talcum-free baby powder, and the brand I use is the Burt's Bees Baby Dusting Powder. It is a little bit expensive, but it's what's best for your body, so that is what I use. And the very last thing is wash your vagina as often as possible. Like, I cannot say that any louder. Like, just wash your vagina every chance you get. When you wake up, before you go to sleep, if you're at home, anytime you go to the bathroom, wash your vagina. Like, come on now. When you're on your period, things can get messy, things can get nasty. So wash your vagina every chance you get. Like, it's just very important that you wash down there and everything is nice and clean. So especially when you're wearing pads, because you're basically sitting in your own blood, and that's just not cute. You want to always feel fresh, be fresh, because you never know when you gotta up and leave and go somewhere. So don't think that you're fine because you're in your house and you'll be fine with the fishy smell. Like, no, get up and wash your vagina. Like, you need to do that. I like to use a natural soap when I'm washing down there because I don't want anything that can set off my pH, and also because your vagina is super duper sensitive, so you always want to use something fresh and clean to clean up down there. So this is the end of part 1 to the period 101. I hope that this video was helpful for anybody. If you guys have any questions or comments or tips for anybody else, please leave them down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye guys.